how you doing? It's MrDoTheMath here, and today we're going to talk about conditional statements. Right? Conditional statements is like the beginning of what we're going to talk about when we get into the proofs chapter, right? And so we're just going to learn about a few vocabulary words and terms, right? Conditional statements basically it's just a statement that has two parts. It has a hypothesis and a conclusion. So conditional statements is a fancy way of saying an if-then statement. If-then statement. That's all a conditional statement is. It's an if-then statement, right? If represents the hypotenuse. Not hypotenuse, hypothesis. Right? Hypothesis is something that may happen. All right, it's a situation, and then is the conclusion, right? So it's based off of our hypothesis. Because of this, then this, right? So in science, an if-then statement would be a cause and effect type thing. Cause and effect, if-then, conditional statements, they're all the same thing. All right? What does hypothesis mean in science? We learned this in elementary school. The hypothesis is what? Right. It's an educated guess, right? So I guess this, and because of this, this will happen, right?
Right.
That is your conditional statement, right? If then, right? Now, a negation. Negation basically means not, right? It's the opposite of the original statement. So, just like addition, the opposite of addition is subtraction, negation is the opposite of the conditional statement or original. So, for instance, if I said, so an example of an if-then statement would be something like this. So they give you, said if the measure of the angle is 90 degrees, right, then the angle is a right angle. Right? So, the hypothesis is it's 90 degrees. The conclusion is it's a right angle. Right? So that's an example of a conditional statement. Go that way. Conditional statement, right? A negation would be if it's not 90 degrees, right? Then it's a right angle, right? And so to go alongside with the negation, we'll go into our next statement, which would be an inverse statement, right? So you got the conditional statement, if then, right? Mm-hmm. The inverse is the opposite, right? The inverse is the opposite, right? So it's a statement where both of these are negative, right? Or negated, right? So a negation basically is one side is negative or not. An inverse is both of these are nots. So inverse would be like if the measure of 90 is not 90 degrees, right? The measure is not 90 degrees, then it's the angle is not a right angle, right? Right? Inverse is not, right? If this is not, then this is not. Okay? Along with our conditional statement, we have something else that's called a converse statement. Converse. The converse is not the sneakers, but it's the flipping of the hypothesis and the conclusion, right? Right. So the converse to this statement, if 90 degrees then right angle, would be if it's a right angle, then the measure of the angle is 90 degrees. That's converse. Does that make sense? Uh-huh. So what we did was you took the hypothesis, the first part of the statement, of the conditional statement, and put it at the end, and you put the second part of the conditional statement, put it in the front. Then you flipped them, right? Converse, you flipped them, right? So it's the opposite. I mean, you flip basically. You flip the conditional statement. CS means the conditional statement, right? And then the opposite of the converse is called the contrapositive, right? Contrapositive. So when I was growing up, like when we was growing up, we had this game called Contra. Contra is like equivalent to, I think it's like equivalent to like Gears of War now. You know how Gears of War, you're just going through the area, and just shooting stuff up, and you picking up weapons as you go. Contra was like that, except like you can only go forward and back, and you can jump, and you had like fancy guns as you went, right? So contrapositive. That was the game right there. Contra. It was two dudes. But let's make sure I'm spelling it right. Contrapositive, right? Contrapositive, right? Contrapositive is the negating of the converse statement, right? So what happens is you're switching this one around. So you're gonna say if it's not 90 degrees, right? Hold on. If it's not a right angle, I'm sorry. If it's not a right angle, right? Then the measure is not 90 degrees, right? So the contrapositive is the negative of the converse. Okay? Let's go about it again. All right? So this is just an extra statement. If-then statement is the conditional statement, right? If this, then that. The inverse of this would just be, I'm saying that my if statement is a not and my then statement is a not. So if it's not 90 degrees, then it's not a right angle, right?
Right.
The converse is the flip of the conditional statement. So the converse of this would be, if it's a right angle, which is this part, then it's 90 degrees. They flipped it. Then the contrapositive is the opposite of this statement. It's the opposite of this statement. So it's like, if it's not a right angle, then it's not 90 degrees. Okay? And so I'm going to simplify it again even more in a second. Right? Now, these statements, these conditional statements, the inverse statements, the converse statement, the contrapositive statements, they have the ability to be true or false. All right. So what I don't want you to get caught up in is the fact that whether the statement makes sense or not. Right. All we're doing is we're making it either the conditional statement, we're either making an inverse, we're making it a converse or a contrapositive. Right. And then from there we'll decide whether it's true or false. So for instance, an equivalent statement. All right. Equivalent statement. Equivalent. An equivalent statement is a statement that can either be true or false. It just depends, right? It depends on what's being said. Equivalent statement, let's read it. A statement that's where both statements are either true or, that's an R, false. Right? So for instance, let's look at this statement here. If the measure of an angle is 90 degrees, then it's a right angle. Is that true?
Yes.
Because if it's 90 degrees is
The right angle.
right angle. Right? What about this part? If the measure of the angle is not 90 degrees, then it's not a right angle. True?
Right. True.
Yeah, right? What about this? If it's a right angle, then it's 90 degrees. True?
Right.
Yeah. And then if it's not right angle, then it's not 90 degrees.
Right.
It's true, right? Right. So this statement is the same as that. It's equivalent to that statement, right? All right. And so because the converse statement and the conditional statement is the same, we call these biconditional. Biconditional means this. It's when the conditional statement and the converse are true, right? And because they're true, you can use the term, because they're true, you can use the term if and only if. Right? If and only if. Right? So you can say the measure is 90 degrees if and only if it's a right angle. Or it's a right angle if and only if it's 90 degrees. Okay? Because if you flip it, it's true. And if you flip this, it's true. So this is true and this is true. And because the conditional statement and the converse statement is true, you can use the term if and only if, and it's considered a biconditional statement. Okay? Let's look at an example. Let me see. I got an example. Right. Here's an example. It says German Shepherd is large. Alright? German Shepherd is a large dog. Alright? Make a conditional statement of this term here. Make this into a conditional statement. Right? Make this an if-then statement. Alright? I give you a few minutes to make this into a conditional statement. You don't get none of it? No. Okay. It's I think it's because it's
because I haven't been here in like 5 days.
No, this is the first day for us. Alright? And it's really simple. Alright? So did anybody make the if-then statement? Yeah, what you got, Molly?
I said if the dog is a German Shepherd, then it's a large dog.
Right. If the dog is a German Shepherd, then it is a large dog. It is large, right? That's a conditional statement, right? Good. Now, make the converse. Make your converse statement. So, who wants to give me the converse? All right, Jared. Converse. So this
if it is a large dog, then it is a German Shepherd.
If it is a large dog, then it is a German Shepherd, right? Does that make sense? All right, now tell me this. Is it true? Is this true?
No.
No, not the second one.
Not necessarily. Why?
Because some dogs are big and
Because
they're
large
not.
dogs aren't always German Shepherd.
There aren't always German Shepherds. Can you name another large dog for me?
A pit bull.
Great Pyrenees, Great Dane,
Great Dane,
Boxer.
a boxer, Saint Bernard.
I don't know.
Chihuahua.
Nah, Chihuahua is not quite a large dog. All right.
It's alright.
All right. So we got a conditional statement and a converse statement. Abigail, that make sense to you? All right, so you just flip them around. That's it. Now, give me an inverse statement. Give me an inverse. Give me an inverse. Who wants to give me an inverse? No, I need somebody else. No, I need somebody else. All right, Lucas.
If a dog isn't a German Shepherd, it is small.
You can't say small.
It's not large.
It is not large dog.
Is if a dog is not a German Shepherd, then it is not large. It's small, same thing, right? Okay. Is that true?
No.
No, it's not true.
No, it's
No,
not.
it's not.
It's not true?
No.
No.
Okay. Let's do, why is that not true? If the dog's not a German Shepherd, then it's not large.
Because those are large dogs and not German Shepherds.
Okay. Cool. Alright, and then let's make the contrapositive. Contrapositive. Alright, contrapositive. Give me the contrapositive. Yeah, German.
The dog is
If the dog is what?
not German Shepherd. Not large.
There you go. Not large. Then
It's not a German Shepherd.
Alright, true or false? That true?
False.
That's false.
If it's not large, it's not German Shepherd?
I mean, it could be true.
What's it?
The
Yeah,
German Shepherds are large.
German
so
Shepherds are
yes.
large, so.
Not all of them.
Answers varies.
Yeah, no. We're assuming that we're talking about a real German Shepherd, like a pure one. Alright, yes ma'am.
Can you switch it around, or do you have to say no?
Switch it around and what, like what?
If it is a German Shepherd, if it's not a German Shepherd, then it's not one.
That's the inverse,
Yeah.
Oh.
right? So the inverse changes this around. The converse is the contrapositive, they go together. Okay? Yeah,
What's the other one below the inverse one?
contrapositive.
Oh,
Okay? Alright, so in this case, right, if it's a German Shepherd, then it's large, is one part. If it's large, then it's a German Shepherd. Is that true for both of them?
No.
No, so that can't be a biconditional statement, right? It's only true for one of them,
It's
right?
not bi.
Right? So, do we want to do, let's do another example. Yeah, I got another example, right?
Write this down.
Measure of an angle is 63 degrees. It is a cube.
That's false.
Is a cube. Right? So make a conditional statement, a converse, inverse, and a contrapositive. Right?
It's true.
I got it.
You got me? Who said they got me?
He did.
You got me. Somebody else got me. What about yeah, Mario? You got me, dog. Come on, give me a make a conditional statement. Yeah. So if the measure of the angle is 63 degrees, then it's an acute angle, right? Is that true?
Uh-huh.
What's the definition? Why?
The acute angle is less than 90 degrees.
Then less
But
than
higher than
90,
zero.
but
Greater than 0.
right. Good. All right. Give me a converse to that.
Converse.
Kiana. Converse. Yeah, if it's an acute angle, then the measured angle is 63 degrees. Right? Is that true or positive? I mean, true or false?
True.
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 Uh-oh, I got trues and false.
It's true.
False.
If it's an acute angle, then it's 63 degrees.
Oh, that's false.
That's false.
Why?
It could be.
It could be other degrees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, because it could be anything between greater than 0 and less than 90. That's not only 63 degrees. Good. Give me the inverse. Give me the inverse. Give me the inverse. Yes, ma'am. Hey.
If not 63 degrees, then it's not.
Right. If it's not 63 degrees, then it's not acute. True or false?
False.
False, because you can have other ones that are. Okay. Cool. And then the last one, the contrapositive. Yeah, Allie. If it's not, huh? The contrapositive, this one. If it's not. If it's, so what is it? Yeah. You're right. If it's not acute, then it's not 63 degrees. That's false. True. False. True.
That's
If
false.
it's not acute, then it's not 63 degrees.
That's
True.
false.
True.
It's false.
Why is it true?
Because if this is 60-degree angle, it's a acute angle.
Right. Good. So this is true. Alright? Alright, so now, that part when you were explaining why, the part where you're explaining why is the beginning of proofs. That's all proofs is. It's kind of redundant, but it's explaining why. So you just can't say true or false. You're going to tell why it's true or why it's false. Right? And that's going to be the next step as we go forward, though. Alright, so to sum all of this up, conditional statement is the if-then. Right?
Right.
Right.
The converse
It's reversed.
is then
If.
if. Right? That means you switch them around. The inverse is if not,
And then not.
then not. Okay?
Right.
And then a contrapositive,
Is if then not.
then not,
Then if not. Not.
if not. Right?
Right.
That's in a nutshell, right? Conditional statement, if then. Converse statement, you flipped them. Then if, right? So whatever was then becomes if, and whatever was if becomes then. Okay? That's what this is saying. The inverse is saying if not, then not. You just added the not to it. And then a contrapositive, again, you flipped them. So it's then not, if not. So whatever was at then becomes the if, and whatever was at if becomes the
a
then.
not.
Right?
Oh.
Okay?
Safety.
So that's in a nutshell. That's our conditional statements in a nutshell.
Right.
Okay? Any questions?
No.
No? All right. Don't forget to like and subscribe. MrDoTheMath out.